understanding the solutions, and I guess a key theme that I'll quickly point out, relevant just to this slide, but you'll notice each of the steps that we're going through, you can't really get to we see a lot of people try and start at this step, and they've sort of formulated like a really potentially rigid scope in their head and they just go straight to market. Like you really need to do some of that internal analysis before you actually try and assess the market, because there's just so many platforms, so many tools out there now that could do what you like, or what you need rather. So understanding the solutions. The history, I guess, when we talk to, like we deal heavily with procurement teams, it's usually where our conversation starts. But history would suggest that procurement teams have not really led the charge in respect of like digital technologies. They opt instead to just ride on the coattails of like a wider implementation, maybe that was run by operations or another business unit. So our experience shows that procurement's almost taking a wait and see approach, and that's largely due to the vast array of platforms. So understanding what's out there is really important. So there's plenty of ways to find them. Of course, you've got your Gartners, Google. There's plenty of ways to find these platforms, but I'd encourage you just to talk to your procurement counterparts from different organisations, because not one of our clients uses our tool in the same way. So there's so many different ways you can skin the cat these days, so it's important to understand what other people are doing. A key one, so just to walk through a couple of dot points, is really let vendors sell to you. We've seen a real shift just in the last 24 months of, hey, here's a rigid scope, and please respond in these, in these boxes. Instead now doing a bit of a market sounding exercise and saying, all right, well, what's out there? Come in, give us a demo, and let's go from there, and then run a bit of a shortlisting exercise post that. So I'd really encourage to let vendors sell to you, but also be prepared to clearly articulate your problem, with data, stats, etc. Create a shortlist. I mean, we do this all the time, so we know that it's a competitive exercise for the businesses that approach us, but I think there was one that we did that we won, which is great, that with 16 global vendors, and there was a shortlist 3 or 4 times. The vendors want your business, so they'll go through the process with you as long providing you're transparent. And I think also just at this early stage, keep your scope reasonably flexible, because your dealings with the various software providers out there can actually help define your scope once you understand what's possible. So keep your scope reasonably flexible.